The world is currently eagerly awaiting a tweet from the President of the United States, which will, in the next few hours, announce whether the United States will stay in the agreement signed in Paris in December 2015 regarding climate policy, or they will actually decide to pull out. So there are possibly at present three scenarios that we are looking at. The first scenario is that actually the US announced they will pull out from the agreement. In that respect, China and the European Union, and you may recall the speech from Angela Merkel a few days ago at the Termina G7, they basically announced that they will take the leadership from the United States in terms of climate policy and investments in renewables and the like. So they claim that actually they will be able to offset the sort of the lack of the US leadership in that respect. The big question there is twofold. One, the first question is what's going to do the countries remaining in the agreement, what going to do about the fact that the United States under the Obama administration committed 3 billion euros to a green fund, which is has to be sort of money which has to be allocated to developing countries in order to support them in their way to mitigate greenhouse gases emissions and deal with climate change. So what to do about those 3 billion dollars? The second question is what other countries will do following the US pulling out, which is, and we think about Russia, which has not been very clear about their intention, but also India and other developing countries in that respect. The second scenario is actually that the United States could announce that it will stay within the Paris Agreement. This is obviously would be what everybody would expect, would hope for, but is by now is definitely the most unlikely scenario to happen because of all the announcements that President Trump made in the last few months. The third scenario is actually that the administration will announce that they will stay in the agreement, the Paris Agreement, but with a weaker kind of commitment. And this is probably the kind of scenario which is more sort of opens more possibilities in terms of uncertainties with regards to what could be done. Because let's remember that there are no legal obligations for countries to actually meet the greenhouse gases targets announced under the Paris, the COP21 agreement. And there is no legal obligation which forces countries to submit sort of ambitious plans with regards to greenhouse gases. So these third scenarios, which would imply the United States staying within agreement but with weaker commitments, is actually probably the one which should give more concern to the rest of the other countries.